Hey guys, Mrs. Traver here. We're going to work through solving the polynomials when they're set up as addition, subtraction, or multiplication problems. So we're going to look at different operations of polynomials. Polynomials is what we looked at in the last section. They were constants, they were linears, they were quadratics, they were cubics, they were quintics, and quartics. And we're going to be dealing with those again today, and we're going to be adding them, subtracting them, and multiplying them. Notice we left division out. That deserves its whole own video. There's a couple different types of division of polynomials, but those are a little bit more advanced skills that we'll get to later after holiday break and all that good stuff. So we're going to work through 4 examples of adding, a subtracting, and a couple multiply and call it good. This, I hope, is straightforward and a review of previous skills because it's all combining like terms. So look at the first one. If I was going to add these polynomials, notice that there's a big parentheses around these two guys, and because it's adding, the parentheses doesn't mean much at all. So I can just add like terms. I've got an x squared and an x squared term. Those can go together. So 6x squared minus 4x squared is 2x squared. I'll put it down here. I've got a negative 7x and a positive 9x. Those two go together to make a 2x. And I've got an 8 and a negative 5 to make a 3. Pretty simple enough. Just combine like terms and you'll be good. Let's do another one with subtracting. All right, let's see. So how we use 6x squared. Oops, I just wrote that one. My bad. I'll use the same thing to start. Minus 7x plus 8. And this time, let's subtract something instead. Let's subtract off 2x squared plus 1. So let's see. Notice we have 2 quadratics again because they're degree 2 and degree 2. This one looks a little different, though, because it only has 2 terms. Also, I've got a subtraction, so I need to distribute this in to both my terms. Or I could rewrite is another way to go about it. So if I was going to rewrite it, you could drop down the first and distribute your negative into each of the second. And then combine like terms. So my 6x squared goes with my negative 2x squared to give me a 4x squared. My negative 7x has nothing to combine with, so it's going to drop down. And my 8 and my negative 1 become a 7. So all set there. Adding, subtracting, pretty straightforward. Just distribute if you have a negative and then add or combine like terms. So let's do a couple where there's multiply. I think that this is also a review, at least for the first one, but this will be multiplying. So this first one's going to look like a FOIL, but a little bit different because I'm going to use a quadratic inside there. So we've got a quadratic because I have degree 2 times a linear because I have degree 1. We're going to multiply these guys. We're still going to use everything that we did before with FOIL, but usually when we started off using FOIL, we had 2 linear equations that we multiplied to get a degree 2. So we had a degree 1 and a degree 1 made a degree 2. Right now we have a degree 2 and a degree 1, and we're going to get out a degree 3. So you'll notice when you multiply the 2 polynomials you started with, if you add up their degrees, that'll be the degree of your answer. So let's FOIL like normal, and we'll have to keep in mind our exponent properties as we go. So first is x squared times x is x cubed. Oops, I should move it down one. Sorry. Put it down here. X cubed. FO is outsides. So x squared times negative 10 is negative 10x squared. I is inside, so 3x times x is plus 3x squared. And L is last, so x squared times negative 10, negative 10x squared. Oops, I said, oh my goodness, struggles are real today. How about I actually pull the last terms? There we go. 3x times negative 10 is negative 30x. My bad. Got a case of the Mondays going here. All right, so this looks good. Any simplifying we can do, let's do it. I see these two terms here we can combine, so let's rewrite it as negative 7x squared for this middle piece. And notice our final answer here is degree 3. That's what I expected. I started with the quadratic times a linear, a degree 2 times a degree 1, and I got a cubic out, degree 3. Let's do one more multiplying polynomials. This one will be a little bit different because it's not going to be a FOIL. Let's do a cubic x cubed plus 2x minus 9x, or let's say minus 9. We'll leave it like that. We'll do that cubic. And a linear. So instead of FOIL for this one, we can't use that because I don't have 2 terms. I have 3 here. I could have had more than that also. But I can still kind of play off the way that these arrows work. Let's look at FOIL and how this came to be for a minute. It took x squared and it made sure it multiplied it by each of the terms in the other. And it took 3x and it made sure it multiplied it by each of the terms in the other. We're still going to do that here. So really what we're going to do is multiply x cubed by each of these guys, then multiply 2x by each of these guys, then multiply negative 9 by each of these guys. So as long as you're able to match up every term on the left with one of the ones on the right, then you'll be good. So let's work through my pink guys first. X cubed times x is x to the 4th. X cubed times 3 is 3x cubed. My green ones, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. And lastly, our negative 9 times x is negative 9x. Our negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. Combine like terms where we can. There's no other x to the 4ths. There's no other x to the 3rds. There's no other x squareds. There are 2 x terms. So I can combine those and then I'll be all set. Here I've got a negative 3x and drop down my 27. So I started, notice, with a cubic times a linear, a degree 3 times a degree 1, and I ended up with a degree 4. So again, if you add the degrees of your polynomials that you're multiplying, then you'll get the answer's degree. And that works just because of our exponent rules. So that's it for this section. You'll be hopefully able to go through and add, subtract, and multiply any polynomial. The trickier ones, again, are ones where you can't FOIL on the multiplying. I think add, subtract are pretty straightforward and you'll be good there. I will see you next time.